Hi everyone, it's Miss Brunner. Today I want to talk to you about the proper use of commas. Since you'll soon be done writing your persuasive paper, and that means we'll be going into revision, I thought it would be good to go over how to use commas properly. So here are 4 basic comma rules. 1. Use commas to separate items in a series of 3 or more. So, if you are going to list items, remember that you need to use commas to separate them. Subjects in the program of study include English, math, and psychology. Since we have 3 different things that we've listed there, which are English, math, and psychology, we've used commas to separate them. We also used a very special comma, which is called the Oxford comma. Some people will say that you don't need this comma, but it definitely helps a reader understand that these 2 items here at the end are separated. So I suggest that you use that comma. Go up 2 flights of stairs, turn right, walk to the end of the hall, and you will be there. So we listed directions, so we need to use commas in between. The receptionist will admit you, the radiologist will x-ray you, the nurse will prepare you for surgery, and the surgeon will operate. So we've listed different steps that will occur before a person goes into operation, so we need to use commas to separate them. Alright, on to 2nd comma rule. Use a comma to separate independent clauses. It's just a fancy word for complete thoughts when they are joined by these transition words. So, an easy way to remember transition words is fanboys, which stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So, for example, Max started writing the draft 2 weeks ago, comma, and he completed it today. Since and is one of the fanboys, we need a comma before it. Another is, we wanted to go to the movie, comma, yet the idea of a quiet afternoon at home was also appealing. We use the word yet, which is a fanboy, so we need a comma before it. I have no intention of celebrating when I complete my degree, comma, nor do I intend to go to the graduation. We used a comma before nor, because nor is a fanboy. Alrighty, on to number 3, our 3rd comma rule. Use commas to separate independent clauses from the word or words that introduce them. So when we use introductory phrases, we need to use commas afterwards to separate it from the complete thought. If I could relive my teenage years, I would do many things differently. We used a comma because we used an introductory phrase that can't stand on its own, but it explains what we're going to say next. However, Marx had a different theory. Since we used an introductory word, we need a comma afterwards. As a student, comma, Ron had dreamed of being an Olympian athlete. Unfortunately, comma, his health made his dream impossible. We used 2 different introductory phrases there. We used commas to separate them from their complete thoughts or independent clauses. So, rule number 4, last one. Use commas to separate from the rest of the sentence any word or expression that is not essential to the sentence meaning. Now, just because it's not essential to the sentence meaning doesn't mean it's not well appreciated by your audience. Detail is always good for your audience so they know exactly what's going on at all times. So just make sure that if it's a detail, you put it within parentheses. Writing essays is not difficult, comma, if you plan them well. Carol Shields, a university counselor, wrote the Stone Diaries and Larry's Party. So, since we described our subject, we put that detail into a set of commas. Valerie, comma, predictably, comma, was named class valedictorian. So Valerie, predictably, was named class valedictorian. We're describing the event. It was predictable, therefore we put it within commas. It's not necessary for the sentence, but it does tell us that there is a lot more going on in that sentence than if we didn't know it was predictable. Alright, so those are your 4 rules. With these in mind, I have some statements that I'm not really sure that I use commas correctly or not. So, if you could please check the sentences below and make corrections where necessary. If the sentences have a comma error, please correct the error and write the comma rule the error breaks. If the sentence is correct, please write correct below the statement and write which comma rule the sentence follows. So there are 9 different statements, and I've Not exactly sure if I used commas correctly or not. If you could just check, that would be really appreciated. Alright, have a good night, everybody. Bye. Say bye, Bert.